So dear students, in this part we are going to talk about the hormones, the chemicals which, uh, which are the first messengers of the endocrine system. Well, so the hormones. These were first discovered by scientists Bayliss and Starling, and both of them described the first hormones named secretin, a hormone that is released from intestinal mucosa. Actually, the intestine has a lining, and there are different cells which are surrounding them. There are few cells which secrete a hormone, a compound named secretin, and it causes increased flow of digestive juices from pancreas. So whenever food reaches a particular part of intestine, the mucosa, the lining around that part, many cells of them, they secrete secretin. That secretin increases the digestive juices coming from the pancreas. So pancreatic juice, we can say, enters inside the intestine and help in digestion. In 1905, Starling introduced the term hormone and described three characteristic properties of hormones. So, if we want to define what is a hormone, there are three properties that it should fulfill. What are these? So, hormones, three characteristics. One, hormones are synthesized by specific tissues or glands. First thing, that hormones should be synthesized by a specific tissue and gland all the time, even sometimes specific cells. Then, second, hormones are secreted into the bloodstream, which carries them to their site of action. So, to describe something as a hormone, that is secretion of an endocrine system, gland, cell, tissue, whatever, a gland, um, has to be secreted into bloodstream, and through bloodstream, they reaches their target or site of action, site or maybe sites of action. So this second quality characteristic, the second quality. Then hormone change activities of the target tissue or organ. So this is third important characteristic, that the hormone, when they reaches the target tissue or the target organ, they should change some activities of that organ. So there are three characteristics which will define a hormone. First, it is synthesized by specific tissues or glands. Second, these are secreted into the bloodstream, and bloodstream will carry them to the site of action. Then hormones must change activities of the target tissue or the organ. So, so if it fulfills all these qualities, then they will be called a hormone. Now, what are the structural categories of hormones? There are four main categories which are described: amines, eicosanoids, steroids, and peptides and proteins. So, first one is amines. These includes basically catecholamines, epinephrine and norepinephrine, which are very, very important hormones, which are also called fight and flight hormones or the emergency hormones. Then thyroid hormones, which are released by thyroid gland, and small molecules derived from the amino acids. These are categorized into amines, that is, which are having basically an amino group associated with them. Then eicosanoids, these are produced from metabolism of arachidonic acid. There is a compound named arachidonic acid. It actually is the base compound for this category of hormones, and these includes prostaglandins, leukotrienes, thromboxanes, and lipoxanes. There are few hormones which are associated with this category. Then steroids, these are cyclic hydrocarbon derivatives synthesized from cholesterol, like testosterone, estrogen. The reproductive hormones mainly are steroids. There are many more. So these are basically derivatives of cholesterol, the cyclic hydrocarbon derivatives. These are testosterone, estrogen, etc. Then the largest category, peptides and proteins. These constitute the largest number of hormones, are most complex. These are the most complex hormones, structure-wise and of course function-wise in this. So the peptides, even some hormones could be very small, like octapeptide, or some could be very, very large proteins, and some could be medium sized. So there are different variations in peptides and protein hormones. Then there's a term called autocoid hormone. It is used to describe various active endogenous substances such as histamine and serotonin. Basically, these are the compounds which can act as a hormone and also act in as a neurotransmitter or as another kind of activated compound. Now, the hormone action pathway, how the hormones act. Let's just simply talk about a very a simple generalized kind of pathway, that how a hormone will act. So a stimulus should arise on a sense organ. Sense organ really receives that stimulus. That could be fear, that could be looking at something, then uh, any other thing, maybe touch or like that. That reaches CNS. CNS then releases neurohormones. We talked about already, there are categories of hormones which include neurohormones, which are released by neurons but act through bloodstream and reach the target tissue. So, for example, growth hormone releasing hormone GHRH is released from CNS and then act upon an endocrine gland like pituitary gland, which releases growth hormone, a hormone that goes through the bloodstream and then reaches the target effector organ. So, stimulus to the sense organ gives information to CNS. CNS releases a hormone, which is of course a neurohormone that act upon an endocrine gland, like for example pituitary gland. CNS part may be hypothalamus, is hypothalamus here. Then that GHRH, growth hormone releasing hormone act upon pituitary gland, and it releases growth hormone. Growth hormone act upon almost all cells of the body, which are the target effector organs, through blood again, and generate a response that is growth, increase in size, and so increase in length and so on, height and so on, increase in growth in general. So this is a hormone action pathway, one example. There are many more hormone action pathways which could be simpler or more complex than this. So this is called a second order neuroendocrine loop. So it means second order precisely means that there are two kinds of hormones mainly involved. One is here, and both of them can give negative feedback. For example, growth hormone in the blood can give a negative feedback to pituitary gland to stop its own production. Then growth hormone also stop the CNS part, hypothalamus, to decrease its production of GHRH. And GHRH will also stop its own production. So this pathway becomes complex in this way. So this is one example. There are many more like that, which could be simpler than this, like a single loop, or maybe another third order loop, which could be more complex. So thank you. If you have any question, you can post these on the WhatsApp group or on the forum, and we'll talk about a few invertebrate and vertebrate hormones in next part. Thank you.